We all remember that time when the Fab Four shared a moment together at an event of the Royal Foundation. There are enough body language signals here for more than one video, so let's see what can we catch at first sight. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. The first impression that I got when I saw all four of them sitting in the scenario was the special treatment they gave Meghan in this occasion. It's important to remember that this is the first and maybe the only time they were sharing the main space at an event. But I want to stress the fact that this was Meghan's first time as prospective member of the Royal Foundation. And I think many people were really excited about the fact that you had in one place the ambassadors of the royal family for the future. The fresh faces, the next generation of royals, especially with this new member. I don't know how much did they suspect about Meghan by this point. I guess they had already noticed some frictions between her and the staff back home, but at this moment both Catherine and William wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. And I say that she was given a very special treatment because visually, if you take into account the interviewer, Meghan was sitting in the literal center of the group. I don't know what you think about this, but for me, it's a very humble gesture from William and Catherine of giving her this spot. It would have been easier for William to sit in the middle or Catherine sit in the middle, again visualizing the group including the interviewer to one side. Since William and Kate are the two main senior members of the foundation, if you want to put it some way. But instead, they gave Meghan that most important seat as a welcoming gesture to these initiatives. What's more, her seat's color is green, which also projects that idea of renewal, of a fresh face. Now let's take a look at the general posture of each one, starting with Harry. This is almost a staple now, a general body language attitude that is sitting with a heavy lean to one side. And maybe I can understand that Harry is rather tall, so he could have some trouble reaching the armrest, so that's why his body assumes that position. I'm going to mention William's posture in a minute, by the way. But Harry has this low energy posture. He's usually looking down, which obviously doesn't help much to easing up that attitude, and he's fiddling with his fingers. He was absolutely not engaged with the activity. And we are talking about William and Kate welcoming Meghan to work all together with their initiatives. Don't you think that Harry would be excited of that perspective, of that future work? And instead we see this kind of defeating posture. It makes you think that most probably the Sussexes were already thinking of jumping ship sooner or later, so he didn't think that it was worth his time or energy being there. What's more, he's got his legs crossed at the ankles, which is a posture of resistance, of not wanting to be there, of not accepting people's arguments. That's a common clue in negotiations. If someone has their legs crossed at the ankles, they are not convinced yet. The only problem is if you're negotiating over a table, it makes it a bit difficult to spot this clue. But I mentioned William's posture, and it was a little different. He's got his legs crossed in what is called an European leg cross, with one knee over the other, as opposed to an American leg cross, where one ankle rests over the opposite knee. In fact, the European leg cross is part of royal protocol and the way men should sit, with the sole of the shoe pointing to the floor. It depends, of course, of your constitution. I don't think Mike Tyndall can sit with his legs like this, so he usually prefers to sit with both feet planted on the ground. William's back is also just a bit hunched. I think he wanted in some way to close the circle and get closer to everybody, since he was sitting on the far end of the group. In fact, you can see that when it's his turn to talk, he leans in and rests his elbows on his legs. I don't recommend this posture because it projects lack of energy. He makes up for it with his hand gestures that have enough amplitude and good rhythm to emphasize his words. And the fact that he was sitting on the red chair, that is a symbol of power, very appropriate for the second in line to the British throne. There's enough contrast with Catherine's gestures, which are all at solar plexus level. And this is important to mention that not because you're gesturing at that level, it means that your hands are too low. In fact, that's a good level that helps emphasize and project your ideas to an audience and at the same time keep a calm and collected attitude. It all depends on your personality. If you feel like it, you can gesture a bit higher to neck level. But if you don't know where your hands should go, just keep them moving at midsection level. In fact, when Megan is speaking, her gestures are more at neck level, almost at face level, which conveys a lot of energy. You just have to make sure to not use this kind of high energy gestures all the time because they lose that power. It can also be seen like you want to attract people's attention to yourself, or you want everyone's attention. Maybe this was Megan's intention, but it shouldn't be like this. Your gestures are a tool to emphasize your words, and your words are the channel for your ideas. Your ideas should be the most impactful message that you give. Your gestures just emphasize them. By all means, you can see the contrast between Megan and Catherine in their gestures. As I mentioned, there are a lot of details that we can observe and compare in both of them. If you want me to keep going deeper analyzing this event, just let me know in the comments. When I mention body language details, I mean like Megan's hands that are really tense and stiff. You can see that in her gestures, her fingers are straight most of the time. That is not a natural state for our hands. Our fingers are usually slightly curved, so this is part of projecting a strong emotion with our gestures. Again, it's not that it's wrong to tense your hand from time to time, but it's not a good idea to have them like this all the time because they lose their emphasis. If you need to give a speech or need to practice your public speaking in some way, the best exercise I can suggest is to record yourself and then take a good look at your own video taking notes. What did you like and what would you like to change? You are your best judge, guaranteed. I want to point out something about Harry's gestures. He's got very good hand gestures, good frequency, good amplitude, but I get really distracted with the way he is constantly rocking his chair back and forth. I mean, everyone is sitting in the same kind of chair, and Harry is the only one that is constantly moving even when he is not talking. You don't have to be a body language expert to realize this only projects being nervous or restlessness or being unfocused. And no matter how interesting your idea could be, people will be distracted by any kind of movement that doesn't support your speech, which is what happens with this chair moving over and over again. I understand the people that claim that they cannot stay calm for extended periods of time, but it's even more important to consider that if you want people to listen to you, pay attention to your message, and you have a good opportunity to share it, make sure everyone's attention is in your delivery and not in other distractions. Again, so much left out this time about this event, but I'll keep reviewing this video to give you more details next time. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.